touchdown! Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot, off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot, off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot, off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot, off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot, off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's just about 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here from Adelaide Arena in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, the home of the Mount St. Charles Mounties. Today's game, a U14 edition of the Rhode Island St. M's as they take on the Valley Forge Minutemen. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Chris C2. Apologies for the text right there. Incorrect text, as our very own Matt Jolis was calling the game earlier. I will be the voice today for the Rhode Island St. M's as they take on this presentation of the 2022 high school sports season. Is brought to you in part by Stanley Tree, powering this broadcast. Thank you all for tuning in once again. So, St. M's looking to get themselves a victory here once again at home. The Valley Forge Minutemen coming in to see if they can bring a tough challenge to the St. M's. St. M's have proven many times of what kind of a youth organization they are on the ice. They display it very well when it comes to going from point to point on the ice, winning face-offs, and just getting the forecheck established early on. So the Valley Forge Minutemen will definitely have their handful in this one. So both teams just finishing up their warm-ups here, and we'll take a quick break. Before we get the initial puck drop here, once again from Adelard Arena here in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, at Mount St. Charles Academy, I'm Chris Etu, followed by Noah Robert, our camera operator today, and we'll be back in just a moment for the start of this one.
The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
And welcome back to Fans Only Sports Live broadcast here with some Youth Academy hockey here from Mount St. Charles as we're getting set for the face-off. Saints won the game earlier today at 8 a.m. 4-2 is the final score. And we are officially underway from Adelard Ice Arena. Golden takes it in, and we'll try and dump it up across the neutral zone. A shot taken right away for the Minutemen. And it's deflected away there by our man in the net tonight, Dallin McKinnister. And on the other side for the Minutemen, the man in the net, Nealon Johnson. So at center ice, bringing it down is number 44, Sean D'Alessandro. Puck trapped up against the boards, and now being shepherded up and taken across the neutral zone. Trying to backhand it, and it's deflected back into center ice and taken away there by Brody Berard. Berard feeding it in, hits the back of the wall and dumped on the near side. Shepherded by Christian Luo. Luo needing some help as Flood gets in to help out on the effort. Puck scampers back into the zone, and defenseman Nash Grant trying to get a hold of it as it's trapped up against the boards by one of the St. M's. And puck taken back across the neutral zone. Tripped up is Flood as no whistles are called. And play will continue. Scala feeds it over to the right side, the near side to Lucas Dicas. And trying to get established immediately. Shot deflected down. The first shot from the St. M's as it was taken by number 12, Matthew Crayer. And with 14:35, each team has already taken a shot respectively on either side of the net, or either side of the ice, I should say. So a face-off to ensue on the far side in the Minutemen's side of things. Puck hits the floor and knocked away by Dylan Dean. Dean's puck trapped up against the board as Sam Flood takes it across. Seems to mismanage it. Luo's going to have to go in and help him out, and puck sent away up by Max Monroe. Fed up from Dean. And this one deflected into the visitor, near the visitor bench, right in front. Discus. And puck trapped by Bent, bringing it back down. Still has some trouble as Dickus is all over it. And a nice interception by Monroe. Monroe with the shot on the stick side. He had a man right there waiting. It was Chase Adams in the vicinity, unable to capitalize off the rebound. They're going to try again here. A backhanded pass, but Bent nowhere to be found on the pass. So dumping it back in, and whistle called to stop play with 13:35 to go in period number 1. Before we get into more hockey action, we'll give you the word from today's game sponsors. Today's game is brought to you in part by Perino Properties. Mention Fans Only Sports and get $500 towards buying or selling your home. 401 Strength and Fitness. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law, 696 Reservoir Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island. The Local, 478 Waterman Ave in East Providence. Check them out at thelocalri.com. By Shamrock Home Loans. Go to shamrockhomeloans.com for more. By Boston Broad, 2195 Broad Street in Cranston, Rhode Island. By Batola, 44 Rolfe Square in Cranston. And then finally, by our Elite Recruits with access to 3,000 schools and 80,000 coaches across 30 NCAA sports. Be seen by being a part of our Elite Recruits today. Back into the action. Both sides still trying to feel each other out as the Minutemen take it onto the St. M side of things. A hard body check into the boards by Ryder Kinsler. Kinsler gets the puck back behind him to Brock Potter. Potter. And skidding down to the floor as this one's sent back to the Minutemen side, and both lines will get changed. Brought down to earth by Christian Hernandez. Hernandez gets a shot on net. Puck deflected. And another great save by Johnson. Back at center. Dumped in. Rumpf going to have to scamper after it as Grant gets a hold of it for the Minutemen. It ends up in the paws of number 22, Anthony Catallo. Catallo flipping it back up to Hernandez. Hernandez having to spin around a little bit with some forechecks going on. And a great job by Flood to collapse on top of it. And now a good feed over to their forward. It's Jaden Golden. Golden with a lot of speed heading into the zone. Puck flipped right in front of the home bench. Could have been an interference call potentially if somebody touched that. Very fortunate there. Berard with the feed to the far side to Callahan. Berard feeding it back up into the top of the zone to Catallo. And puck flipped behind the glass. Out of play with 11:34 to go. And don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Right after the first period of action, we will hop right into second period to play. There will be no intermission until the end of the second. Monroe on top of it as he deflects it away. Couldn't feed it into the zone, so it's going to go back to the St. M side of things. Dumped away on the far side boards by Britton. And taking it up, number 11, Max Monroe. Johnson knocking the puck away. Hernandez, or excuse me, that's Britton on top of it. Another dump in. Murphy flipping it over to his teammate, Scala. And neither side can seem to get a hold of it. Monroe backhanding it into the zone once again. St. M's keeping the pressure on. The puck's going to travel all the way to their side of the ice. And icing will be the call. We'll head back to the Minutemen side. Minutemen, they've been able to move the puck effectively. However, they haven't really been able to bring it down into the St. M side of the ice for very long. And they'll get set for this face-off. And the St. M's come away with it. Potter at the top of the zone. They'll take a rifling shot on Johnson, and it's knocked away with the glove. On the near side, some hard checks all over the place, as neither can establish possession, neither side. As finally taken away by Adams. A hard shot hitting the top of the net of the glass, as that was a rocket by Ryder Kinsler. But it will go out of play. And the face-off one in the neutral zone by the St. M's. A feed to Pent. And then on the wing side, another shot into the net as Dylan Dean took a chance, but a little too high. That's what we've seen the last two shots from the St. M's, is a little too high. A lot of velocity on these shots on net, however, they're just traveling over the top. Trying to find the top shelf by the looks of it. Sending it behind the net. And the Minutemen, Potter trying to trap it in the zone. And Bent to get a hold of it back at center. Bent flipping it around the defense. He gets ahead of two defenders and gets some help from Dean. Dylan Dean feeding it into the front of the zone. Adams getting tripped up. Stamina able to keep it in front. And the puck still maneuvering around. Dean on top of it. Oh, and Adams was right in the slot. He tried to feed it right down the middle. Adams not ready for it. Luo will dump it in. Christian Luo for the Minutemen. And behind the back to Luo. At the top of the zone, Grant. Minutemen trying to establish some offense. A shot deflected off a defender. Murphy gets a shot on net as it's knocked down by McKinster. Bent will finally take the puck up, and the St. M's get a line change. Bent, hard shot, way too high for comfort, over the top of the net and out of play. So face-off will stay in the Minutemen side of the ice. And at the top, rifled in by Berard. Puck trapped up against the boards. There's several defenders all over it. And taking a shot right in front of the net, knocked away. Johnson was being screened a bit as he couldn't really see where the puck was. Lucky to get the save. Callahan, the feed this time to Agafonov, excuse me. And the St. M's are going to have to retreat as the puck was cleared. Taking it up again is Callahan. And this one flipped across the glass, brought down back to the ice by Logan Dickus. Richards trying to body check right there. St. M's get a line change for defense. Luo bringing it into the zone. A shot a little wide to the left, but on the net once again for the Minutemen. Bringing it back up is Coutalo. Coutalo flipping it around defenders, trying to use the speed. At the top, a shot on net and deflected into the netting. A hard wrister coming from Wyatt Britton. 8:06 to go in period number one. You're from Adelard Arena. You're watching Fans Only Sports Network's live coverage of Mount St. Charles Youth Academy Hockey. If you're interested in checking out more Fans Only Sports live stream, high school, college club, youth academy hockey, or even semi-professional sports, go to fansonlysports.com. That's sports with a Z at the end, and you can purchase your single ticket or full season pass. Especially as the hockey season rapidly approaches us, ladies and gentlemen. Some big rivalries. You got Bishop Hendricken, LaSalle Academy. You've got Smithfield, Burrillville. Some big Division I games that we'll have right here on Fans Only Sports Network. Trying to feed it right into the zone. And flipped up back at center. Monroe trying to trap down as Chase McCohen tried to shepherd it across. It's eventually taken away by Erkman. Erkman gets fed the puck once again. Erkman getting it over to Luo. Luo feeds it back to Erkman at the point. Erkman, and a great save. It went right into the shin pads of Dallin McKinster. Shots all even up at 5 apiece by both Minutemen and St. M's here in period number one. Both taking very effective shots on both goaltenders, but neither has found a way to find the crease. Deflected off the glass and back in neutral ice. Being taken up, a shot deflected and heading into the netting. Crayer, or it might have been Glance, excuse me, was the one taking it up ice. And defenders managing to knock this one high into the netting, out of play. So the faceoff will come back in the Minutemen side of things, and the St. M's win the faceoff. However, Potter going to have to retreat as nobody was there to secure it. And that nearly ended up being a costly mistake for the St. M's. Minutemen going to try and capitalize on as this puck goes back into their own side of things. Deflected off the boards over to Murphy. At center, intercepted by Potter. Potter trying to get some help from Crayer and Ciardello. Now being shepherded up by Kinsler. Dumped into the zone. And whistle for icing. And we'll get a face-off down in the St. M side of the ice. Erkman was trying to trap it down. Bent using the speed to use the puck. 3-on-1, a chance off the rebound, and it finds it! It finds the back of the net. The St. M's strike first here in period number 1. And give credit of the goal to Dylan Dean. The 5'10", 155-pound left winger from Maple Grove, Minnesota, puts the St. M's on the board first. They lead 1-0. And that was just a great job. You could see it all come together as it was 3 against 2 heading into the St. M's side of the ice. And whistle to stop play. So the St. M's take an early advantage of 1-0. And we'll get the face-off down in the St. M side. And Dean, that's Dylan Dean in the box for hooking. A 2-minute penalty will go up against him, and the St. M's will have to play with a man down and a 1-0 advantage. Schwartz had the puck manhandled away from him by Gavin Callahan. There on the PK unit. Power play unit trying to get set. Feeding it back to number 34, Jeffrey Schwartz. And puck had to be trapped on the other side. Luke Murphy keeps it in. Grant on top of it. Deflected over to Schwartz. Back down behind the net and back to Schwartz. Schwartz to Grant. Grant winds up for a shot that's a little wide to the left. And puck hits the net. And that'll stop play with 1:13 to go on the penalty. And the PK unit trying to do its job in period number 1 as that's our first penalty of the game. Once again, Dylan Dean in the box for 2 minutes for hooking. 1 minute to go on his penalty and a whistle to stop play. And it looks like the penalty, we're going to get another penalty here. It's going to go against number 8, Luke Murphy. So that'll make it 4-on-4 hockey for the next 59 seconds. And then the St. M's will go on the power play. 5:05 remaining in period number 1 as we head into the Minutemen's side for the faceoff. Britton at the top of the zone, sends it back down. Being taken at the top, over to Monroe. Monroe tries to use the boards to his advantage. Gets it across to his man, number 19. Apologies, I don't seem to have a jersey number. Oh, excuse me, Cole Saborin. Apologies for that. Saborin with the puck, feeds it over the top to Monroe. Monroe tries to deliver a shot that's deflected. Trying to chase it down is Rumpf. Rumpf going behind the net again. Rumpf spins around, sending it over to Saborin. St. M seem to just be trying to kill the 4-on-4 way, so they go on power play, and a shot deflecting right off the face mask of Johnson, and it flips over the top, right over him into the back of the net. credit of the goal to Cole Saborin. And with just 9 seconds to go on the 4-on-4, that's a St. M's goal. And they take a 2-0 advantage. So the Saints find themselves on top once again in a very crazy set of events, in which the puck was deflected over the top of Johnson, finds the back of the net again. Quick whistle right from the face-off will stop things, and they'll come back and do it all over again. And off the face-off, Golden dumps it in, and has to be gloved and saved there by McKinster, as Golden was skating in to see if he could try and make something happen off the dump-off. A second to go until we got power play hockey coming for the Saints. And that'll do it. Power play 4-on-4 comes to an end. It will be a St. M's power play. Minutemen trying to keep the puck in the Saints side of things. Saints already scampering across the neutral zone, across the blue line, fed to the top to Glance. Glance to the point. Brent over to the far side now, trying to feed it right in front. The puck dangling all over the place as it's saved by Johnson. And puck still can't seem to find a home of someone to take a hold of it. The Saints find it. Trying to maneuver right in front. The pass on the rebound. Johnson on his butt as of this point. And this one deflected right off the glass and still in play, and it's finally cleared. And they're going to call icing on this one with just 2 seconds to go. Very interesting call. With 3:08 to go in period number one, your score 2-0. As the St. M's lead this one over the Valley Forge Minutemen. And as the puck hits the floor, Minutemen come up. And we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Potter right in front. Flood seemed to be a little shaken up as he took a hard check in front of the bench. Seems to be all right as he gets back in the action. Puck still stuck in front, and a whistle called. Looks like it would be for an offsides on the Minutemen. And we'll come back to center. And a face-off win for the Saints. Kinsler over to Potter. Potter up the middle, and this one's going to go all the way into the Minutemen side of the ice. No icing. And the Saints trying to get a hold of the puck as it's deflected all over the place. Kinsler has Catallo there as well. Puck sent back for Grant to get a hold of. Grant. This one taken in by Roman Scala and dumped into the opposite side of the ice and called icing. And face-off taken away by the Saints. Right at front and center. Fed over to the far side to Callahan and dumped in behind Johnson's net. Puck flipped up back to center. Ooh, losing his footing. And the Minutemen come up with the puck as a result of the trip. But the Saints make up for that. Pass all the way to Saborin. Saborin had the goal earlier. And feeding it across to Berard. And this one flipped away as it was deflected by another defender. A great defensive stop. That's something you got to credit the Minutemen for, is their congestion as in terms of defense. However, they have surrendered 2 goals in this start of this afternoon hockey matchup. The minute 35 to go in period number 1. They still trail 2-0. And behind the net, Minutemen, ooh, that looked like it could easily be a hooking call. A little bit of high stick action going on too, but the St. M's keep it in play. To Berard at the top, and the puck scampers across. Callahan with the good eye to get the puck back on side. He'll just dump this one in for the St. M's. Just about a minute to go. A shot on net. 2 shots. And the St. M's trap the puck down right in front. Could be a breakaway attempt coming. Ooh, and just a great defensive effort. Callahan didn't flinch as a result of that nice little juke move that was coming from Sean D'Alessandro. Under a minute to go in period number 1. Minutemen had themselves a breakaway chance. It fell through. Crayer to bring it up for the Saints. And a shot right on Johnson to start it off. Off the rebound. Puck still scampers in front of him. And now, interesting chance coming. Another chance right in front. Johnson has to really lay out for this one, make a tough save as they tried to sneak it through the back door. 27 to go. And puck hits the floor. A chance right in front. Another shot deflected away. The St. M's are really volleying a lot. Dean, another chance. And the puck deflected. Trying to get a shot. Trying to get it around the hook of the mooring. And now some shoving going on after the play ended. And referees finally clear this up. It looks like they're going to send both of them to the box for roughing. That's going to be number 8, Luke Murphy. And then once again, number 14, Dylan Dean, heading in for the second time tonight. And both players will hit the box for roughing. So another man to hit the box for the Minutemen, and it's Sean D'Alessandro. So it's going to be a 5-on-4 for the St. M's. And back into the action. Galato with the dump down. Back to the top. Dump back down again. This time to Hernandez. A chance in front of the net. Another save from Johnson. And Hernandez trying to get the final second effort. But after period number 1, your score sits at 2-0 as the St. M's lead in this one. To start off the game, both sides going to just talk things over for a few moments. So we'll take a quick break and be back for the start of the second period. Saints lead the Minutemen 2-0.
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Comes in, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Comes in, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
And apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. We're back here in the second period of action here for Mount St. Charles Academy. For period number 2, as the St. M's take on the Valley Forge Minutemen. St. M's lead this one by a score of 2-0. Here at the start of period number 2, Hernandez having to come across his body, a shot right on Johnson. It's been a lopsided affair in terms of shots on net, and icing the call there with 5:18 to go. 104 left on the penalty, and that one's against the Minutemen for roughing in the last period. It did send a St. M to the box, but it didn't count against how many men would be on the ice for the Saints, as I believe it was the Minutemen that were the instigators of the incident. As the puck hits the ice, it comes away with the Minutemen, who clear it back through center, all the way over to McKinster. McKinster gives it to Brent. Oh, going behind Bent, excuse me. Glance to take it around. Richards trying to shadow him, and he'll give it back to Bent. Will Bent across through the neutral zone and across the blue line into his attacking end. Bent and the feed back to Suburban. Back down to Bent. Bent with the shot, and Johnson on the stick side. Luckily, he didn't find the opening between his armpit and the stick. Suburban back over, this time to Glance. And the shot going right behind, hitting the back of the boards. Bent rifling one right from the point. Johnson with another key save. That's the 20th shot for the Saints so far. Bent. And intercepted back at center by Erkman. But another chance, a backhander, this time from Saborin. And it's a little wide to the left, but it counts as a shot on net. Kinsler winds one up, and that one's going to hit the back of the boards. And the Saints come back to center as another clear, and the power play comes to a close. And this puck deflected into the home bench with 13:44 to go in the second period. Score sitting at 2-0. Before we get into more hockey action, let's get the word from today's game sponsors. Today's game is brought to you in part by Barino Properties. Mention Fans Only Sports and get a $500 credit towards buying or selling your home. 401 Strength and Fitness. Call them at 401-270-3009. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law in Cranston, Rhode Island. By The Local, 478 Waterman Ave, East Providence. By Shamrock Home Loans. Go to shamrockhomeloans.com for more. By Basta on Broad, 2195 Broad Street in Cranston, Rhode Island. By Batola, 44 Rolfe Square in Cranston. And then finally, by our very own RR Elite Recruits with access to 3,000 schools and 80,000 coaches across 38 NCAA sports. Be seen by being a part of RR Elite Recruits today. Puck taken back through center. And sent back the other way. McKinster going to let this one travel all the way down. Icing is a no-go as our referee decided to not make the call. And Scala back at center. They flip it into the attacking zone. Schwartz needs some help as he doesn't have many people in their way. And McKinster makes a big save. And it looked like Schwartz was trying to feed it over to Christian Luo, who was shadowing on the right wing. Wasn't able to find him in time. And a big save by McKinster. And a shot right on net! Finds the back for the Minutemen. Luke Murphy took it right from the face-off and rifled it, and it got right between the wickets of Dallin McKinster. And the Minutemen answer back here in period number 2. 2-1 your score. And a big goal score as the Minutemen find themselves back in the affair. And the face-off back in neutral ice. Puck now on the Minutemen side of the ice. Callahan trying to trap it down. The Saints have gone a little quiet, but we'll see if they can bring that energy back up. Glance, this one deflected off. A great defense of Murphy, Luke Murphy, the one with the goal. Really stepping it up this time around. Fed back to center. Callahan traps the puck down, trying to squeeze through. Sent back over this time to Brody Berard. Berard trying to feed a man. Prayer gets a hold of it. And a hard body check by Nico Ciardello. And Callahan trying to get it across to Glance. Glance. And they'll bring it around the backside. Crayer is going to have to get some help from Glance. Richards and Murphy on top of it for the Minutemen, and it finds Callahan somehow on the near side. Nearly tripped up. Murphy knocks the puck away, and Glance still trying to scamper all over it. Murphy body checking a man into the glass. That's Crayer, and this one deflected off of Johnson. Puck still in the Minutemen side of the ice. The Saints haven't given up the steam just yet. The spark hasn't gone out. Crayer trying to find Glance at center. They're doing a good job now of swallowing up the slot. That's something that the Minutemen struggled in the first period. They gave up 2 goals by allowing a lot of space in the middle. This one deflected right off the mooring and knocked back down, dumped back in by Adams. This time, Dylan Dean on top. Dean, the puck behind him as he finally found it. Goes back the other way and redirects. Golden all over him, and Dean lets this one scamper back to neutral ice. Berard dumps it into the zone. It's been the longest sequence of the entire game so far without a stoppage. Dean at the point, feeding it back. Another hard shot deflected away by Grant on the defense there. Minutemen really playing some tough defense after their first goal, but unable to generate any offense, and finally a whistle called to stop play with 10:13 to go. Excuse me. And they're just adjusting the moorings on the goal for the Minutemen. And that was the stoppage of play. The goal post came off the mooring. And face-off. Neutrally won, but it looks like the Saints and Minutemen are getting a hold of it there. Trying to knock away with his own hands was number 34, Jeffrey Schwartz. Puck dangling right in front. Johnson has to fall on his back. There's a volley of rebounds were all over him. Johnson makes another great save. Despite giving up 2 goals in the first, he's really, really been playing very well. The deficit could be a whole lot worse from what we've seen so far, what the Saints offense has been able to generate. Minutemen defense need to get the puck moving for their offense, though. Too much pressure in the next few minutes could result in a goal score. You never know what could happen, but anytime pressure is brewing, There's always a chance. Brent right in front and knocked away right in front of the net by Johnson. Saints still keep possession in their offensive zone. Dean maneuvering. A chance right in front. Johnson falling on his side. Puck still on the floors. It's deflected away by Bent. Bent trying to get another shot in. And finally, the Minutemen clear it back at center ice. Nearly 3 minutes in their own end, and the puck might still end up in their own end. Dean with the interception. Dean trying to maneuver the puck, and Johnson finally stops it there. And Dean knocked to the floor as, once again, we're getting some more pushing and shoving from either side. Referees have really had to step in a whole bunch to separate these instigators. Referees trying to keep control of the game, keep everyone's tempers at an all-time low. And back into the action. Puck on the near side board. As the clock's ticking away. And Monroe forces it back up to center. Callahan behind his back and skating it down is Saborin. Saborin losing the stick. He's going to have to go back to the bench and ask for a new one. Or in fact, they're going to just switch him out. Minutemen finally get the puck on the Saints side of the ice. Christian Luo, he's trapped up against the boards as Flood's going to have to come in and help. And puck passed back behind the blue line and back in neutral ice. A lot of snow gathering up right in front of the home bench. On the sides of the boards, as you can barely see it, but you can see that snow kind of puff up every time. Monroe chasing the puck back down into his own side. Back up to the middle. Grant trying to get a hold of it. It's eventually flipped away. Back up by Jeffrey Schwartz. A shot wide to the right. Shot was taken by Christian Luo. And this one flipped high in the air and brought back down by Dean. Hernandez with the flip up. And trying to get in there was number 20, Esrit Erkman. And they keep passing this one around. Luo with the puck now. Feeding it back to center. That was a tight one into traffic to McEwen. And behind the back, as Romph was trying to get a hold of it. Romph gets it here, and this one hits the back of the net. Still in play. Romph, a shot from Crayer. And another one from Callahan as it's trapped down by the defense. Crayer, a nice feed, and off the back of the board there as Ciardello was in on the action. Another one is Crayer. Didn't go for the backhand try that time. And a nice feed, a little slow dump off, but that shuts it down, and the Minutemen will send it all the way back. However, they're going to have to face some more pressure as icing will return the puck to their side of the ice. 7:06 to go in period number 2, and the story of the game really has just become just a defensive slugfest. However, the Minutemen did manage to bring the game back to near even as they trail 2-0 with a nice shot from the faceoff. Luke Murphy etched a score on the board. And back in the saddle, the Minutemen trying to do that. And puck stays in front of the blue line. Glance and Crayer all over it. Crayer feeds it behind his back, and it wasn't handled properly by Berard. And a whistle to stop play yet again. 6:42 to go. Puck hits the excuse me. This isn't football season anymore. Puck hits the icy floor and flipped over the top as Ciardello really trying to go all out for that one, a 360 spin. Callahan at the point, over to the far side to Berard. Puck right in front of the slots, knocked away and sent back to neutral zone. And then flip behind the back this time to Callahan. On the far side, Ciardello. And a chance for glance as it's knocked off of Johnson's shin pads and dumped back in by Callahan. Murphy dumping it around to the top. And this time Berard. Sending it behind the back crater. Over to Hernandez. Or excuse me. And puck sent all the way to the Saints' side, and that'll be another icing call. 5:35 to go in the second period. And puck banged off the glass. Kinsler after it, and another whistle to stop the play for icing. And at the top, taken away by Potter, but sent back into the zone. It would have led to an offsides. Potter chasing it down, puck scampering over to McKinster, deflects it away. And at the top, Dickus, and sent back to Dean. Dylan Dean trying to let things develop. Spins around to see if he can get a man set up, trying to get Bent ready. And Potter traps it down for Dylan Dean. Dean maneuvering around, using the deflection to his advantage, gets behind two, and a shot off of Johnson. Knocks the puck down. Dean redirects again. He's been doing a good job of that as he's manhandled to the floor. And Adams on top of it. Johnson has to do a full split. And another great save from Nealon Johnson. The net came off the moorings, and so they have to readjust one more time. And a big thank you to all our fans-only sports fans who tuned in throughout the fall sports season. Football, soccer, some great moments from that, even field hockey, and even some college club sports and youth academy hockey. This has been one of the best seasons we've had so far. And to add on top of it, the Saints somehow get a lazy shot on net to find the back of the net. Cole Saborin with his second goal of the game adds another one to the Saints' lead to make this one 3-1. And you can see Nealon Johnson on the far side. You don't see him right now, but after the goal score, you could see he was just in utter disbelief. Definitely disappointed that he just let that one sneak through. So the Saints come away with the face-off after a second goal taken by Cole Saborin, the right winger. 5'7", 150-pound kid from Cumberland, Rhode Island. This one goes right into the mitts of McKinster as it's lazily chopped into the air. the face-off. Grant stopping it at the point, tries to rifle it down right in front, finds the back of the net for the Minutemen. They bring it back within one off that goal. Give credit to number 97. That's Jaden Golden. Golden and Murphy get a pair, each combined for a pair, as the Minutemen bring it back within, tying the game. And the face-off taken by the Minutemen. Ooh, a hard check right in front of the home bench. Under 4 minutes to go now, as the game's gotten tight once again. This one flipped back to center and hit the floor. Golden trying to get on top of it. It was deflected back to the neutral ice. Trapped against the boards. Crayer trying to bounce it off the boards. Golden sneaks behind him, but great defense coming up as Berard gets a hold of it. Grant getting hooked a little bit. No hand up by the referee, surprising, as Berard feeds it up. And now Crayer taking it past neutral ice. Ooh, a nice maneuver around a man and feeding it behind. This time it's over to Ciardello, and this one cleared. Going to go back all the way to McKinster. He's going to trap it for Callahan. No, he's going to let it slide by him for icing. It's been a weird shift of momentum. It's gotten defensive at times, but then sparks of offense really come out of nowhere. But the Minutemen have really been battling adversity to stay alive in this one. We've just seen great offensive and time of possession taken in by the Saints. However, for the Minutemen, they've capitalized on the opportunities that they've seen, and they haven't given up, especially with the shot differential being very lopsided, as you see 27 for the Saints and 11 for the Minutemen. Kinsler keeps it right on the edge of the blue line, and as it scampers behind the net, Adams trying to get a hold of it along with Bent. Adams eventually finds it for the Saints, but it's deflected away. This time over to Chase McCown, and nearly dumped back in as Grant's trying to get a hold of it. Or Schwartz, excuse me. Schwartz. And now taken up by number 2, Will Bent. Bent trying to find another backhanding shot. They've really tried to... Ooh, and Dylan Dean body check to the floor there. Potter dumping it back to Dean. Dean's taking a lot of hard hits as he goes to the floor once again. Trying to get some help from his own teammate as Adams tries to get on top. And this one deflected off the boards. Sent over to Kinsler. Dean and Potter all over it. But Schwartz and McCohen, and especially Flood, trying to keep it in play for the Minutemen. They want to tie things up with just about 2 minutes to go. Schwartz flipping it back. Puck still on the Saints side of the ice. They send it to the point to Scala. The shot deflected by the defender. That was a great job by Chance Adams getting in front. Dean, ooh, maneuvering through the slot. Tried to see if he could keep it in, and the Saints will send it back to neutral side. Monroe dumps it in, and a whistle to stop play with 1:45 to go in the second period. This is getting to be a very tightly contested matchup. To be expected between two very tough opponents. And face-off taken away by the Saints. Dumped back in. Johnson lets this one go behind the net. And sent back up. A shot there. That was a hard shot by Nikita Agafonov. Agafonov with a hard shot on the net. And he hails from Vienna, Austria. Monroe feeds it over to the far side to Wyatt Britton. Saints have opted to go to their third line, maybe even their fourth line of players. And 1 minute to go in period number 1. Score sits at 3-2. We'll see if either side will be able to do anything just before we hit the second period intermission. And this one will actually have a break going into it. Hernandez falls to the floor. But despite that break, don't go anywhere, please. Sit back and relax. Maybe even get some hot chocolate prepped. You can't feel the cold here, but we certainly can, so have one on us. This one dumped in. Hernandez Sending it over to Crayer. Or excuse me, Catalo. Berard chasing it down and dumps it up. Back over towards Hernandez and fed over by Romph. Ooh, a hard hit back at center and dumped in. Going to be called icing. Just 2 seconds to go. We'll give it a 3-second break. We're 3 seconds ahead of the actual game time clock. This should be the final face-off before we head into the break. Hernandez trying to get the shot off, and that will end the second period. Before we hit the break, I'll give you the word from today's game sponsors. Today's games brought to you in part by Perino Properties. Mention Fans Only Sports and get a $500 credit towards buying or selling your home. 401 Strength and Fitness, 401-270-3009. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law in Cranston, Rhode Island. Go to josephlammy.com. The local 478 Waterman Ave in East Providence, Rhode Island. By Shamrock Home Loans. Go to shamrockhomeloans.com for more. By Basta on Broad, 2195 Broad Street in Cranston, Rhode Island. By Batola, 44 Rolfe Square in Cranston. And finally, by our very own R Elite Recruits with access to 3,000 schools, 80,000 coaches across 38 NCAA sports. Be seen by going to our Elite Recruits today. So after 3-2, your score as the St. M's lead the Minutemen 3-2. We're going to take a break here, and we'll be back for the start of the third period to write a conclusion on this one right here on Fans Only Sports.
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Adelard Arena here in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, home of the Mount St. Charles Mounties, home to some of the greatest hockey players in the world, where they all began their roots. And we see that with Youth Academy hockey as we're back underway for the start of the third period. The St. M's lead the Valley Forge Minutemen by a score of 3-2 as we enter the third period of action. Cardello with the shot, knocked down by Johnson, and Flood to get a hold of it for the Minutemen as it's dumped into the zone. Going right over towards McKinster. And taken back up ice, this time by Matthew Crayer. Crayer with the dump in, going behind net. And the Saints managed to win 4-2 earlier today at 8 o'clock. And the goal scorers for the Saints were Dean, Crayer, Bent, and Ciardello. They all had those goals for the Saints, and Carson Mertz was the one in net in that game earlier this morning. Had a great game as he only allowed 2 goals to his credit. And the St. M's looking to take care of business once again by a similar score differential. Of course, 1 off to make it dead even for what we saw earlier this morning. At the point, a hard shot that goes right into the top of the net. Berard was the man to deliver that one for our first stoppage of play of period number 3. Face off to stay in the Saints side of the ice. And back at the top, Berard, deflected right off of Richards' pads on defense. Dean trying to get a hold of the puck, and he does, right in the slot. Nearly hit the top of the crossbar. And back at neutral ice. Dumped back in, heading behind Johnson's net. To get a hold of it there was Dickus. And back at center, Berard having Sabourin and feeding it over to the far side to Callahan. Callahan back to Berard. This one deflected off the stick and heads back to center. Taking it up now is Dean. Dylan Dean has a chance to feed Sabourin. He'll get it behind the net as the pass clearly wasn't intended to stay there. Dean has to stay on the ice for a second as he was lagging a bit. He'll finally retreat. Now Schwartz feeding it behind his back to Luo. The shot right on McKinster is knocked down. And the Saints get to dodge a bullet there. Britton sends one right over to Johnson. Good defensive effort there as Nash Grant got in front. And now to scoot it up past on over, this time to Max Monroe, and dump back in to the Minutemen's side. Grant with the puck. And he'll feed it to the near side. All the way back to the far side. Back to him. Grant crosses the blue line. With McCohen nearby. He feeds it over to Schwartz right in front. Knocked down again. Great effort by the defense. And another whistle. That'll stop play once again. And we're going to give you the word from today's game sponsors. Today's game's brought to you in part by Perino Properties. Go to PerinoProperties.com and mention Fans Only Sports to get a $500 credit towards buying or selling your home. 401 Strength and Fitness, 401-270-3009. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law in Cranston, Rhode Island. Go to josephlammy.com for more. The Local, 478 Waterman Ave in East Providence. Check them out at thelocalri.com. By Shamrock Home Loans. Go to shamrockhomeloans.com for more. By Boston Broad, 2195 Broad Street in Cranston, Rhode Island. By Butola, 44 Rolfe Square in Cranston, Rhode Island. And then finally by our very own RR Elite Recruits with access to 3,000 schools and 80,000 coaches across 38 NCAA sports. Be seen by going to rreliterecruits.com today to sign for your profile. Right in front, Johnson falls back on top of the puck. And a great save as Glantz sent a hard shot for the Saints' 30th shot of the game. Penalty called on number 7, Sam Flood, for hooking earlier. And it's going to be a high stick penalty. That's the call. This shot going wide to the right of the net. Sent back to the point. Bent. Ooh, a nice one as it goes right off the shin pads. Another one off the rebound. Saints really doing a good job of this glance. Another one. They send another one at Johnson. 2 straight shots, and Johnson stops them all. Bent trying to make it a third time. 4th time, in fact. Bent coming back towards the slot. Glance went right behind his back there. Bent trying to bring it back up for Glance. Glance at the top of the zone. Over to Bent, back to Glance. Glance whiffs on the shot and will travel across the blue line, and the Saints will have to get back on side. Bent over to Cardola. Or excuse me, another one on Johnson and out of play. Ciardello, Adams and Benton crew, and Dean applying a great offensive pressure. 52 seconds left on the penalty for the Minutemen as they are really holding on for dear life. They can't surrender another goal this late in the game. And the Minutemen try and clear it, and Scala gets a hold of it. And the Saints somehow keep the puck in their own side of their offensive zone. Murphy trying to collapse a hole around it. Hernandez, they let it scoot by. And this one goes over to Callahan. Callahan at the top of the zone. Tries to feed it over to Cutallo. And the Minutemen finally get the break they needed. They clear this one. And Callahan to retreat after it. Only 20 seconds to go now in the penalty. Bringing it up is Matt Crayer. Crayer letting the offense get set. Callahan back to Crayer. Crayer at the top to Callahan. Callahan rifles one right in front of Johnson. A backhander. That's another great save by Johnson, and the puck goes flying high in the air as Crayer was all over it. Callahan now maneuvering, gets it to Crayer on the far near side. Crayer still looking, a chance, a shot, it wraps around the front side of the net. And the St. M's add another goal to their lead. Matthew Crayer comes in big time for the Minutemen and puts them up by a 4-2 advantage. The Rhode Island St. M's continue this dominating performance. Looked like it might have been for hooking or tripping. As we're back into the action. And just an update, ladies and gentlemen. The minute 41 left. That was just a moment ago we got this news. LaSalle with 90 seconds to go. Up 32-23 on the Bishop Hendricken Hawks. That is just a rivalry unlike no other. But Hendricken, widely renowned for its great football and hockey programs alike. A lot of great sporting programs. LaSalle able to get the monkey off their back on this one. A chance for the Valley Forge Minutemen as they try and get set with the penalty on their side. Erkman over to Murphy. Murphy and sends it down over to Schwartz. To Schwartz. Murphy to Erkman. Down to the near side. Back to Erkman. Erkman sends it over to Murphy. Murphy over to Schwartz. Luo right in front of the net, still waiting for that rebound attempt. Erkman delivers a shot wide to the left. Luo going to have to chase down a man. That's Berard. And Saints keep the puck in play, finally clearing it with under 40 seconds to go in the power play. Their PK unit doing a stellar job. Dean all over it. Dylan Dean. He's trying to get it to Cryer right in front of the net. He still holds on to the puck. Flipped right in front, knocked down, brought down to earth by number 2, Logan Dickus. Erkman to bring it up. Erkman going around the left. Dumps it over to Murphy. Murphy trying to feed it right in front for Erkman, who's too tangled up by the defense. And that will conclude the power play. Saints back to full strength. Crayer was trying to maneuver it right in front with Ciardello to back him. Unable to find anything out of that, but a great trap down by Monroe. Monroe keeps it in the offensive zone. Cardello, 3-on-1, 2-on-1 now. Was trying to sneak in there. You could see him wistfully coming in. Was Saborin trying to hit it right in front of Johnson off the rebound. And Johnson finally going to be able to find the puck as it scooted right through his wickets. 7:27 to go in period number 3 and in regulation. And puck staying in play. Hard body check to the floor. Puck scampers behind the defense as Richards gets a hold of it. Feed over to Hernandez. Dump back up for Hernandez to try and trap down. Hernandez right in front. A backhander shot. Score! The Saints find the back of the net again for the 5th time today. Give credit to number 22. That's Anthony Capallo. Saints do another amazing job to add on to their lead. And Kinsler with the puck. Saints now have a very comfortable 3-goal lead. They need to keep applying the pressure. Dump back in to Kinsler. And sent back up to Dean. Kinsler traveling behind the net with Potter in front. Sends it over to Adams on the near side. And having trouble handling that puck a little bit. Luckily Bent was there and he'll give it back up. Over to Potter. Kinsler back at center ice. Sends it up to Dean, who traps it down. A good feed to Bent. Will Bent traveling all the way around. Couldn't get the full end around there to finish the deal. And now to take it back up is Roman Scala. Scala all by himself. Tries to find it in front. And he's sitting right inside of the net. And Kinsler trying to give him some pushing and shoving. Another great save. And whistle as we have a player down for Rhode Island St. M's. That's very important player right there. That's Ryder Kinsler. And he's down. And it looks like he'll be all right. He's a little shaken up, but he's able to get back to his feet and walk it off. .5:57 to go. Crayer sends it away for Callahan behind the net. Callahan maneuvering the puck. It goes all the way back into the opposite side and it will come back for icing. And the face-off won by the Saints. And feeding it over into the middle, this time to Berard. Now back at center, fed over to Ciardello. And taken away by Glantz. Fed back to the top, deflected off the stick. Retreating it is Berard. Berard giving it up this time to Matt Crayer. Crayer, and a shot right in on the top shelf. And the Saints find themselves on the board yet again. Third straight goal unanswered. As Nico Ciardello finds the back of the net once again for the St. M's. Now we'll retreat back to center for the face-off with just 5 even left in regulation. The score 6-2 as the Minutemen have just trailed throughout and just haven't been able to find strong footing. A prime example of that has been their shots on net. You can see the shot differential, 37-14. It's just been tough. They've been very accurate in terms of the 14 shots that they put on McKinster. However, they just haven't been able to finish the deal. Nearly another chance for Joe Gonnan to get in on the fun. Britton with the shot, deflected off the defenders and sent back to center and cleared out. Going all the way back to McKinster. And no icing to be called. All over it now is Max Monroe. Sent over to the far side. And dumped back in. Scooted up ice. Over to Sabourin. Murphy will take it up now for the Minutemen. Dumping it in. Monroe over to Rumpf. Rumpf on the near side, giving it to Sabourin. Sabourin feeding it in. Over to Catallo. Catallo and Rumpf trying to get on top. Potter and Kinsler to retreat after the puck. Kinsler, the man who was injured not too long ago, appears to be all right. Must have been some type of a stinger. He remains in the action. Trapped down at center by Rumpf. Rumpf with a 3-on-2. Oh, Hernandez sent it right over the top of Johnson. St. M's nearing their 40th shot on net, excuse me. Flip back over and trapped down by Brock Potter. Potter sends it in. Going behind the net. And intercepted right there. A chance right in front. The puck dangling right in front of the net. And the defense traps it down and another whistle to stop play. And Minutemen come away with it, and the shot right away on the face-off. And a goal. This one for number 10, Brock Potter. Or excuse me, apologies on that. Roman Scala. Or actually, no. I believe that was none other than number 8, Luke Murphy, with credit on the goal. So the Minutemen find themselves back in it. There's not much time left to go. Just about 2.5 to go. Another hard shot, this time taken by Roman Scala and sent back up. Hard check right in front of the penalty box. And a whistle call. That might look like... Surprised they didn't call boarding on that one. Berard. This time sent it over to Callahan. Back at center. Swartz dumps it in. And Crayer a hold of it. Matt Crayer. Now Callahan back at center and caught right in front of the bench, the visiting bench, with 2:07 to go. Score 6-3 as the Rhode Island St. M's look to make it 2-0 on the day, especially with a great game this morning of a 4-2 win. And dumped up to the neutral zone. Callahan with a nice check right there. Crayer bouncing it along the boards, trying to get it up, fed to Jamie Glantz. Flood with the puck on the floor. Stays in plays and nearly went into the home bench. Berard sending it back over to Callahan. This time Berard. Sending it up to Ciardello. And trapped down by Glantz. Glantz maneuvers around, a nice shiftiness, trying to get it around 3, but there's no Saint in the vicinity to stop that one. Monroe gonna have to retreat after it. This time, number 9, that's Nash. Grant trying to get on top of it. Grant and Crayer trying to fight for this puck. Monroe finds it, traps it against the boards, and cleared away back in neutral territory. Erkman with it, trying to get at least one last goal before the end of regulation and the end of this one. But the Saints trap it down behind their net with 1 minute to go. Monroe flips it back in front and will go out of play into the home bench with 53 seconds to go. It's been a good one today, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of goal scoring. You got to give credit, honestly, today to Cole Saborin. Saborin nearly got himself a hat trick in the game, but his spark is what ignited this Rhode Island St. M's lead, and the St. M's never looked back as a result. St. M's won the face-off. Not much time to go. And he'll be the Ocean State Spotlight Player of the game, going to Cole Saborin. Saborin, the 5'7", 150-pound righty from Cumberland, Rhode Island. Had himself a great game with 2 goals in the effort. Christian Luo bringing it across the blue line for the Minutemen. One last gasp and a chance as McKinster knocks it away on the shot. And Breton moves the puck all over, trying to set it up right in front. Breton sends it back to center. And Aganov behind the net. And that'll tick the final seconds of this one away. The Rhode Island St. M's edge out in a 6-3 victory over the Valley Forge Minutemen. Your final score, once again, 6-3. Minutemen, they were dominant. They had near 40 shots on net throughout this whole game. The Minutemen struggled throughout. Didn't even manage to break 20 shots on goal against Dallin McKinster. It was a great effort by both sides, especially the boys in the net. And as they all go through the process of shaking hands for a good game, we thank you all for tuning in to Fans Only Sports live broadcast today of the Mount St. Charles Youth Academy League. And we will catch you all in the next broadcast. Hockey season rapidly approaching, especially for high school. Thanksgiving coming up next week. We're going to have some great games on the slot. Be sure to check out Chet and Duffy as they go live, covering the City Cup game between LaSalle Rams and the East Providence Townies for the final games of the football season. Thanksgiving, nothing like it. Enjoy it with your family. We'll be sure to tune in with you there for those games. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you all on the next broadcast.